Get comfortable with being seen. Welcome to your daily hit of grace and grit, your quick dose of inspiration to kickstart your day. This show is proudly sponsored by Rumble and Rise. To find out more about joining Rumble and Rise, head on over to graceandgrit.com/ready to rumble. I'm Courtney Townley, and here is today's hit. It never ceases to amaze me how many of the women that I work with have really big things on their hearts that they want to cause, contribute to, or inspire in the world with the life they have left to live. And it is very common, all too common, that women shrink from stepping into that work, not because they're necessarily afraid of the work, although that can be true too, but more often because they're afraid of being seen. So I want to share a little story with you about a client I worked with years ago who really wanted to audition for community theater because it was something she had grown up doing in school plays and, of course, had that one magical summer at theater camp and still got chills watching live performances. So there was this pull on her heart to re-engage with the art of acting. And of course, there was a local playhouse that was posting audition notices. And every time she saw one, her heart would flutter a little bit and then immediately sink. Because she would think things like, who am I? I'm too old. This is ridiculous. That chapter is over. And the thought of standing on stage, saying lines in front of strangers, being watched and evaluated, kind of made her stomach turn. What if she forgot her lines? What if people she knew came to the show? What if she wasn't good at remembering lines as she was 20 years ago? So the dream, of course, stayed locked away, safe, and she stayed invisible. And man, so many of my clients play the what if game, right? Again, we have that calling to re-engage or engage with something new. And we play the what if game that makes us shrink. And I want to invite you to really play the what if game that makes you expand. What if this breathes more life into my life? What if this is something that I've really been missing in my life? What if this just brings me so much joy and connection and happiness? That what if game makes her want to step into the work. So with this client, Michelle, she ended up going one night to see a production and recognized somebody in the cast, a woman from her gym who was around the same age, and not someone that she ever thought of as going out for a theatrical production, right? Those things, two things didn't match in her head. This was just a regular person who apparently decided to try out. So after the show, Michelle caught herself thinking, well, if she can do it, why can't I? And that's when it hit her, right? Michelle realized that she'd been living as if the whole world was waiting to critique her, when actually most people in that audience were just there to enjoy a show, to be around community, to be inspired by something. And she was letting the fear of hypothetical judgment steal something that used to bring her so much joy. Can you relate to this? I can. There's been lots of things in my life that I have shied away from because I was afraid of judgment. I was afraid of failing. I was afraid of being seen. So the great news is Michelle eventually did muster the gumption to go out and try an audition. Of course, she was terrified. Her hands shook a little bit as she held her script, and her voice cracked on that first line. It certainly wasn't perfect, but it was real. And when she got cast in a small role, something shifted in her. Not because she became a star, but because everyone praised her performance, but because she chose to be seen instead of staying safe. And being comfortable with being seen isn't really about necessarily confidence or fearlessness. It's about deciding hard that you want to create, share, or become something that matters more than staying hidden. It could be as simple as joining the book club, even though you're terrified you're going to say something dumb in front of people you don't really know. Or maybe it's taking the art class, even though everyone else seems more talented. It's trying out for the team, signing up for the race, raising your hand to volunteer, even when your hands shake, because they will. One of my favorite quotes, and I can't tell you who said it, but it's not mine, and I've recalled it for years, is that fear is excitement without breath. So essentially, there's two types of fear in the world, right? There's a fear that protects your life. So when a Mack truck is headed right at you, hopefully you get out of the way. That kind of fear protects you. But the other kind of fear that we feel so often, and more often, I would argue, is that excitement without breath. So whatever is on your heart that you have yet to pursue, because you're playing that what-if game that talks you out of the work, can you breathe into it? Can you take one small step towards it? Can you just give yourself permission to try the thing that you have been watching from the sidelines? Show up in a space where you usually stay invisible. Be present as yourself, not as the carefully controlled version that you think people want to see. Oh my gosh, I did this for years. I mean, on the podcast, in so many places in my business, I was so scripted. I was so afraid of saying the wrong thing or not saying things well enough that what I was saying didn't really connect. And when it started to become more real, more off the cuff, I let it be imperfect. I let it be kind of B- work instead of A++ work. Wouldn't you know it, people started to engage with my work more. So be human. Being human is relatable. And relatable is connection. The world doesn't need another woman hiding her gifts to avoid judgment. It needs you, imperfect and present and willing to be fully seen. If this stirred something inside of you, imagine what a whole book of clarity and courage could ignite. The Consistency Code, a midlife woman's guide to deep health and happiness, goes even deeper into the mindset and practices that create real, meaningful change at midlife. Grab your copy today over at theconsistencycode.com and keep the momentum alive.